Hey guys, Zach here with Minimal Scapes, and today I've got something for you that I'm really excited about. I've really been waiting patiently to do this before I've got it all planned out. So as you can see in front of you, this is my 90-gallon tank. I've never shown this on the channel before. I started it before I started the channel, and it's been going for the better part of a year now, I think. Probably closing it on 9 months. As you can see, it's a little rough around the edges right now, and I haven't really been caring for it how I'd like, so I think it's really time to do a rescape on this, and I'm super excited for this. So this rescape, as you can see, I've got this nice piece of wood here inside of it, this nice like stump-like piece. I've got a second piece that goes with it. I don't know if you can see it. It's up in the top right corner, like up here, just on top of my two gecko tanks that I've done. I'm really excited. I'm gonna combine that piece that you can up in the top corner there and this piece and try to make kind of like a root system looking thing that's kind of like the side of a river. I'm super excited to show you guys and take you along with me. But before I do any of that, I've got to get this all taken apart. So first thing with that though, I'll explain my process and then you'll see it. I want to take out this creeping ivy up here in this corner first, and then I'll probably take out the plants or the hardscape. I've only got, I think, 2 fish in here, so those will come out too, as long as I can catch them, and then all the snails and stuff that are in there come out as well. Then once I have that out, I can take out the hardscape, and then I'll get the substrate, and hopefully it won't take too long. So let's get right in. So I just want to take this time. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this, but see how there's black? There's kind of like black all the way up all these leaves, and at the roots here, this is completely black. And over here is completely black. That means that the roots didn't get proper aeration, which means the entire plant has died. So if you get that, usually the base plant is bad, but I found that sometimes some of the new growth can still be salvaged. So just save whatever you can of that, and you'd honestly just have to throw out the rest. Alright, now that I've gotten most of, if not all, the plants out, and then I've got the big piece of hardscape out, now all I'm going to do is just drain it really quick. Alright, now that I've emptied the tank of everything, I just want to give the glass a quick wipe down with some paper towel and some cleaner. Like, you can see that there's like stuff on the glass, like that's all on the glass, and the bottom's not too good either. So I'll just give it a quick clean, and then I'll be good to start the scape. Alright, after cleaning it, it's now the next day, and I've put my 2 bigger pieces of hardscape that I'm going to want to put in here in. But I'm not going to want them to sit like this. I actually want them to sit up a little bit higher. So how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to use this expanding foam and hopefully just lock it in against where it presses on the glass, and hopefully that'll keep it up, and I'm gonna probably like tape it and try to rig it up so that way I can get it in and done. And if you do decide to try to copy this and use expanding foam, make sure you have glasses, like safety glasses. I've got mine right here. And then you want also a pair of rubber gloves. This stuff is really dangerous if you breathe it in or get it in your eye, so just be careful when using it. All right, I've just moved the camera over to the side so you can see, but I'm basically just gonna do like with this back one, I've got this white bucket holding it up, and then it's just gonna sit kind of up here. It's nice and high, so there's lots of room underneath for any fish or plants that I wanna put in. Like, it's probably almost a foot and a bit underneath there. And this should stay really good once I get the spray foam in. And I'm just gonna repeat this for this one right here as well. So I've tried to clean up the spray foam as best as I can. Anything that you see right now, like on this edge here, here, and you can't see it, but over on this side, there's some that you can see from the end. I've cleaned it up the best I can. Any that you can see, I'm gonna just cover in moss. My only issue right now is this big hole right here in the stump. I don't think I'm gonna be able to remove the foam on the inside and get the moss there. So my plan is I'm just gonna spray foam kind of going up that, and hopefully it'll stay there, it'll fill it in, and then I can shave it down and just hide it with moss. And I'll do it and I'll see how it looks. So now it's all filled in, and I'm just gonna wait for that to cure before I go any further. Let me see if I can get it there. So I'll give it 10 minutes and I'll come back and I'll kind of push it down. Hopefully that'll help it cure a little more contained. And then I'll just cover it all with moss or other plants. Or I might even put different kinds of wood there just to maybe add detail or just to kind of try to hide it. All right, now that that's filled in completely and it's pretty set, I'm just gonna start on the substrate system, and then I wanna get the rest of the hardscape in. So for substrate, I'm just gonna use topsoil, just any generic brand from garden store, Home Depot, you know, wherever. And then to cap it off, I'm gonna use some play sand that I also got it from Home Depot. You know, it's a lot cheaper, and especially for a project of this scale, the look's gonna be about the same as any other sand. So let's get right into it. So with the nutrient layer down, I've only put about an inch of dirt down. I might put a little bit more. I don't know, it looks a little thin to me. But with this down, I do want to be super careful because I might decide to put some like quarries in here. So when I'm capping it, if I don't cap it, I guess deep enough, then fish that sift through the sand like cory cats are gonna be able to bring that dirt up, and it's gonna make it very messy and cloudy. So just be careful with your capping. I'm gonna do about, since I put about an inch of dirt, I wanna do about 2 inches of sand. Now with all the substrate in, you can kind of see here in the front, it's about like 2 fingers deep. That's basically what it is the whole way through, so I hope no dirt's gonna get through. I might add just a little bit more just to be extra careful, but all I'm going to do is just add in the rocks. I'm going to use kind of rounder rocks. I don't know, I've got a whole bunch just kind of laying in a pile right now. And I'm going to use some bigger ones, some smaller ones, and really just try to make them look natural, like they were swept there by like a river current. I've got 4 or 5 here, I'll just let you see. I've got those down there, those bigger ones. And I'm just gonna kind of put them like wherever I kind of think looks nice. This is probably gonna take me a little while to get it right. So, you know, I'm just gonna fiddle around till it's something that I really like and I think is gonna look good. Now I'm very happy with how this is looking from the front. It's a little awkward right now just because you can see the foam and there's not really any other transition piece. But right now, I'm really happy with how it's looking. I just want to embellish it a little bit more with some small little pea gravel. I'm just going to add it in like kind of all the way around because that should make it look much more realistic, I would say, kind of. And then I'm gonna start planting. As far as planting goes, I've got some val that I'm gonna kind of plant towards the back, towards the sides. Maybe see if I can have it like come up through the roots possibly, maybe. Or on the sides. That's probably the only real big stem plant I'll have in there. And then obviously I'm gonna have some kind of moss. I'm thinking probably weeping moss for around like this yellow pieces, just because that's gonna kind of, weeping moss will grow kind of down. It'll grow out and kind of weep down. That's why it's called weeping moss. And then in the foreground, I've got, I think I'll probably put some hair grass as well as some dwarf sage in that kind of middle to foreground. And I might put some red stems, but I think I'm gonna try to keep it more green. Yeah, more green sounds better. So dwarf hair grass, dwarf sage, and maybe some like Hygrophila Polysperma, some of those kind of clover leaf looking ones. And then I'll probably put some, maybe Bucephalandra and Anubias in there. I'll probably put some of that up against the, like in the trees, in the tree roots. And then some, probably get a Java fern to put. I've got Java fern to put up there as well, so we'll just see how it goes. So I wasn't too sure how good it would look, but I'm really liking how this is turning out, like especially with all this little detail. So it's coming together a lot better than what I thought it was. Before I plant, I've already told you guys what I'm gonna plant. Before I plant though, I do want to get like a small amount of water in here, just enough to cover really the sand. So that way if I do plant any foreground plants, then it's easy enough to take care of them, but I just want to fill it up because the sand might also move and the rocks might kind of shift around too. That little bit of water in, the sand can kind of settle, and it's sitting very nicely, so it shouldn't shift around very much, especially when I'm planting. Planting in this tank, I'm gonna kind of take it in 3 stages. I'm gonna kind of do everything down here first in the foreground, kind of any epiphytes I want between the rocks, and then as I fill it up a little bit more, I might just start with the background stuff first before doing the moss on all the wood, just because of how tall this tank is. Like, I don't want to reach down and get my entire arm wet while I'm planting, so I might just do it kind of like foreground, epiphytes, and then background. And as I'm filling it, as I kind of approach, like you can see that area right there and this whole piece, I can glue and then just throw moss on top of all of it, and it should kind of conceal it a lot better than anything else that I can think of right now. But I'll just do that as I raise the water. So with the foreground, first thing I'm gonna plant is just some, I believe it's dwarf sage that I've just got right here in my little cup here. Just some dwarf sage that I've collected from all my other tanks that I've got. And then it's gonna be a bit sparse just because I have such a small amount of it right now, but it should be able to grow it in like a couple of weeks and it'll look really good. So I'm gonna start with some dwarf sage, and then I'm gonna go get some, I think I'm gonna get some crypts for kind of in the middle there, working my way back, and then once it gets a little more full, I'll get the stems for the back. Next up are the cryptocorns. I believe it's Crypt Tropica and then Crypt Lutea, I believe. I'm not positive. I got these a long time ago and they've just kind of been in all my tanks, so they look good. Alright, now with the crypts and the foreground filled in, I think I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna fill it a little bit more, and then I'm gonna move on to any epiphytes, or I should do epiphytes right now, actually, between all the rocks on the bottom here. So anything down low that I wanna get, so anything down here, epiphyte-wise, I'll fill in right now. And then I'll fill it up slightly more, and I'll start with some background plants. I can't pick anything red, really, or too high. I could have a pop of red kind of in the center, but I can't pick anything with too big of a light demand underneath the stumps, because obviously it's not going to get as much light as what I would like. That's why I kind of tried to put the crypts under there, because they don't need as much light. So we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, so I'm happy to say that this tank is finished. I'm super excited with how this turned out. It looks really, really good. You know, it's really a jungle of just plants and everything. And it just looks really stunning. It looks a lot better. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it just looks really, really awesome. Super happy with how it turned out. So, you know. So that's all for this tank now. I'm not going to add any livestock for probably another week. I'll show an update video on that. Right now, all I want to keep it to is probably some snails, and that's going to be about it for the week. I just really want to get this tank settled and try to get it into a balance, more or less, before I add any fish. And when I do, I'll probably just add a couple of small things, maybe some like minnows or tetras or something like that. Just like a small school maybe, and then I can go from there and add some bigger stuff. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like.